Dear wounded leader, there are wounds that come from resistance, and then there's wounds that come from relationship. Now, this message, it's not for the leader who was attacked by outsiders. No. This message is for the leader who was betrayed by insiders. Why? Because leadership hurts differently when it comes from within. See, you weren't ambushed by strangers. You were wounded by people you built, people you trained, people you trusted, you defended, people you gave access to rooms they couldn't have entered without you. And that pain doesn't strike the surface. It strikes the soul. Because betrayal is not about what they did. It's about what you gave. You didn't just give them opportunity. You gave them belief. No, you didn't just give them position. You gave them confidence. You didn't just give them access. You gave them your heart for the work. And when they turned, it didn't just fracture the relationship. It challenged your discernment. It shook your trust. It made you question your very judgment. And leaders rarely talk about that. Why? Because leaders are expected to absorb pain quickly and quietly and keep on producing results. But hear this clearly. Betrayal is not a leadership flaw. It's an occupational hazard of influence. If you never build people, you'll never be betrayed. But if you're called to develop, empower, and elevate others, well, betrayal becomes a possibility. Not because you failed, but because you led. Some of the deepest wounds leaders carry come from believing in people more than those people believed in themselves. And when those people misuse your trust, the injury is not loud, it's internal. You keep leading, you keep functioning, producing, but something on the inside of you tightens. You become more cautious, more guarded, and now you start leading with restraint instead of release. Not because you're bitter, but because you're bruised. And bruises change how you move. Yeah, you still show up, but not to open up. You still build, but you don't bond the same. You still pour, but you measure every drop. Because betrayal taught you that access is expensive. And nobody told you how to heal from that. Oh, they told you to stay professional, stay focused, and even told you to stay above it. But they never told you how to grieve. Because betrayal is grief. You grieve the version of them you believed in. You grieve the future you saw together. You grieve the trust that could never be returned to its original state. And leaders grieve in silence. You didn't get the breakdown. You didn't get the process publicly. You didn't get to ask why. You had to lead while wounded. And the danger of this unprocessed betrayal is that it doesn't stay emotional. It becomes philosophical. You start changing how you see people. You start changing how you assign responsibility and even how you share vision. You don't stop leading. You just start leading alone. But isolation is not a leadership strength. It's a leadership survival mode. And survival mode is not sustainable. Let me just speak to you plainly. You didn't misjudge your calling. You didn't misunderstand leadership. You didn't fail because someone betrayed you. You encountered a human reality. And the reality is that people can benefit from your leadership without honoring your heart. And that does not mean you stop building. It means you must learn the difference between access and assignment. Not everyone who is gifted is loyal. Not everyone who is capable is committed. And not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay with you. But betrayal doesn't cancel your ability to trust again. It just defines your discernment. Discernment is not suspicion. Suspicion assumes everyone is dangerous. Discernment understands timing, character, and alignment. And wounded leaders often confuse the two. They call it wisdom, but it's really pain still talking. Some of you shut doors God never told you to close. You didn't close them because of revelation. You closed them because of injury. And pain makes decisions that fear later enforces. This episode is not calling you to reopen access recklessly. It's calling you to heal deliberately, because betrayal untreated will eventually distort leadership. It shows up as micromanagement. It shows up as emotional distance. It shows up as distrust disguised as standards. Now, standards are necessary, but they should come from wisdom and not wounds. You don't heal betrayal by pretending it didn't hurt. You heal betrayal by refusing to let it redefine how you lead. You don't need an apology to be free. You need release. Now, release is not reconciliation. Release is refusing to carry the weight of somebody else's decision, because leadership is heavy enough without carrying unresolved offense. Hear this. Hear this. You can still build without bleeding. You can still empower without hemorrhaging. And you can still trust without being naive. But healing must happen before expansion. Because unhealed leaders don't reproduce health. They reproduce caution. And the world doesn't need more guarded leaders. It needs whole leaders. You weren't betrayed because you were weak. You were betrayed because you're safe. You were safe. And safety exposes character. What they did doesn't define you. What you do next will define you. So don't let betrayal shrink your vision. Don't let pain rewrite your purpose. Don't let one wound cancel your calling to build people. Leadership always carries risks, but isolation, now that carries regret. Heal, process, release, and lead again. Not hardened, not guarded, but anchored. Because betrayal doesn't disqualify you. It graduates you into wisdom. And wise leaders still build. They just build with healed hands. This is Archbishop Dr. William S. Downer III, and I'm talking to my dear wounded leader. You can still heal. Yes, you were betrayed, but you can get past it, and you can still realize your destiny in Christ. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you.